Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Hiram Maxim. I'm professor of German Studies and Linguistics, and also the director of undergraduate studies in German Studies. So delighted to have you here for our annual, or sometimes semesterly info session about opportunities to research, study, work, intern, and do other stuff in the German-speaking world. We like to tailor this to our audience, and so we're curious to know a little bit about yourselves. I don't need detailed bios, but maybe first of all, undergrad or grad, okay, because it was open to both graduate students and undergrads, and maybe what year. So if you're thinking more of kind of postgraduate options or stuff while you're here as an undergrad. So maybe a show of hands, grad students here? Any grad students on Zoom? No, okay. How about first year students? So one first year, two first years, okay. Second years, third years, one third year, and then a couple seniors. Seniors, interesting. So more seniors than others. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it sounds like we'll cover everything then, but it sounds like some postgraduate opportunities for the seniors in particular. You're curious about that because actually there are some deadlines coming at us pretty quickly, postgraduate stuff that we'll want you to be aware of. Okay. Yeah, so what we thought we'd do then is have the other contributors introduce themselves, and the last contributor is my colleague, a dear colleague, Professor Vogt from German Studies, who's also the DAAD Lecturer of German Studies. And if you haven't heard of DAAD before, you will know what it is by the end of the session. If there's anything we want you to walk away with is what DAAD is. That's a German abbreviation for the German Academic Exchange Service, and they're one of the major funding organizations to get people to come to the German-speaking world, to come to Germany, I should say. It's a German only. So Austria is excluded from DAAD. To get you to come to Germany to do really pretty much anything, intern, study, work, or do research. And so it's an organization that's actually supported me 6 times in my career. So I don't think I'd be here without DAAD. They've supported Professor Folk now for 6 years. And so it's a wonderful organization that is very supportive of bringing people to Germany. Okay. And so that's our organization we're going to focus a fair amount on tonight, as well as the things. And obviously, let us know if you have any questions along the way, either mid or at the end of the session. And obviously, we're available post session to talk more about some things. So maybe I'll let the rest of the folks introduce themselves, and then we'll, like I said, we'll conclude with Professor Vogt, who will then give you some more information about day.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, everybody. I'm Leah Roche. I'm a professor in the NBB program, and I'm excited to talk with you about opportunities. I guess I should tell you that one of my other jobs besides just teaching is managing the undergraduate research programs. And so you might have gotten emails from me about research classes and things like that. And so that's part of my interest in these opportunities as well.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Massa. I'm also professor here in NBB. We're excited to talk to you a little bit about our new study abroad program that you will hear more about in a little bit.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana Renrapp. I'm in the undergraduate research programs in the Pathways Center, and my colleague Sandra is here also representing the Pathways Center and undergraduate research programs. And we're here just to talk about how undergraduate research opportunities may align very well with the German studies programs, the study abroad, and the DAAD program as well. So I'll tell you a little bit about some funding options and programs.
Maybe one more thing, Frank, before we turn to you is a quick show of hands about majors or general areas of academic focus. So NBB folks. Okay. And Zoom, how many NBB folks there? Okay, German studies. I see Eskandar. Okay, German studies. Okay. Any other academic interests we should be aware of? I'm sorry? Biology. Zoom folks, feel free to put your majors in the chat so we can check in on those too. If you don't want to speak. Philosophy, econ, okay, some law, pre-law, NBB, health, bio, international studies. Okay,
Mhm.
all right, great.
Okay.
Okay, so Frank, yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Frank Vogt. I'm DRD lecturer here at the Department of German Studies at Emory University. And yeah, DRD is an institution that funds me. As Professor Harry Maxim has said, it has funded him 6 times. And that's actually, it sounds a little weird, but DRD is an organization that once you get a stipend or scholarship or work with them, they often like to give you more. Yeah, it's an interesting aspect, and I want to share some some insights about this organization. And how you can use it to get to Germany. It's actually pretty interesting that this year the DRD turns 100 years old. So it's been founded in 1925. And the origin of the DRD actually is about US American German exchange. So it's although it funds way more than just US American exchange. So there are positions such as being a lecturer at universities exists in almost every country in the world. There are about, I think, 300 such positions. And in the US alone, there are, I think, today 12 professors working from Germany that use DRD funding. My colleague Hani Geis in San Francisco, the DRD has 2 offices in the US. You can see that the presence in the US is pretty vital for the DRD. So she has produced these slides that I'm using, and she's put on her slides, "Put Germany on your resume." And you probably know why this might be a catchy phrase to do to start off or kick off a presentation. So the most important information that you need to know that DRD provides scholarships and grants for all disciplines at all stages of your career. So it doesn't really matter if you're an undergraduate, you're graduate, or you're doing research as a postdoc, PhD student, as a professor. So you can, until your retirement, always get DRD funding. And retirement is not covered for some reason. But they offer scholarship and grants for all disciplines and all stages, but they also offer information and counseling about studying research in Germany. So if you have questions about that, you can approach me. You can approach Jaime Maxim because he has been to Germany a couple of times with the DRD. But you can also approach the DRD as an institution. I show you how to do that. So the some facts and figures. So DRD has offices in 70 countries in the world, with 2 offices in San Francisco, New York, and the US. And as you can see, so 3 million students and researchers have been supported by the DRD in these 100 years, which is a pretty big city, if you will. So I don't know if you're thinking why, Germany. I can give you some ideas. Most of you probably have heard about Germany as a country that has a pretty high academic standards when it comes to, higher ed education and research. Especially in the STEM fields, there are very interesting organizations and institutions that you should know, such as the Max Planck Institute, the Leibniz Societies. Interesting, of course, for US American students or students that study in the US, that you usually don't have to pay high fees or even tuition. Studying in Germany is usually almost free, meaning you only pay for your cost of living.
Just make sure you understand that.
Yeah.
No tuition.
No tuition. I mean, there was an attempt in 10 years ago, I can say, where the German government tried to implement some student fees. It was minuscule, like, compared to Germany, but
Or to the US.
yeah. So we were talking about a few $100s per month. Yeah. But the German students took to the streets and said, no, education is a human right. We don't want to have that. We want everybody be able to study whatever he or she or they want. So to this day, it's free.
Your question?
And yeah, Debbie, did they sponsor visas? I would say I wouldn't say so. No, I probably think that is something that the institutions that you apply will be taking care of rather than the DRD. But the DRD is helping. So they are helping, for instance, with my visa, I have been doing that all along. yeah, as I came here on the J1 visa, but they don't sponsor visas, if that makes sense. But also, I would say visas are not that expensive in Germany than in the US. Yeah.
I don't know your scenario. So something I didn't say when I introduced myself is I did a Fulbright in Germany, and they helped you get the visa for the student visa in that case, right? So like I went there without it for fully living there. Oh, I mean, yeah, I think these organizations, Germany wants you. If there's anything I feel like I can say is that Germany really wants folks to come and come to their institutions. So
Yeah, having said that, the idea is not like it may be an end goal that you would spend your life there, but initially I want you to spend some time there, and then what happens after that is kind of up to you and whoever wants to employ you. But yeah, a long-term career in Germany is maybe not initially Dave's focus, right? Yeah.
It's not their focus, but they initiate these contacts and
Yeah.
they help to make the connections between companies and well-educated students. And from there, I mean, it really depends on the companies. If they want you, if you would like to stay there, I think that's the visa question is kind of can be figured out here, right? Yeah. So there are some pages that I would like to share. So there are lots of resources, and I will share the slides with all of you after the presentation. So I will not go to all of them, but DRD is good in many ways. I want to say this in terms of funding. I think I don't want to sound nationalistic or chauvinistic, but I think it's the only country in the world that has such a budget for international student exchange and research exchange. There are, of course, reasons for that, but for students, it's a pretty awesome opportunity that you, I think, should think of when you plan your career and your studies. The DRD is not so good in say their websites and everything outfacing. It's like it's always looks like stuck in the 90s. And sometimes it's pretty hard to find the right information. That if you run into this problem, then remind yourself of what I said, and maybe I can help you find the right information. But I also show you how you will find the right information, even though you have to deal with some strange-looking websites. Yeah, so I can maybe say a little bit about research opportunities for undergraduates. Yeah, so one of the very popular programs that the DRD is also known for is the RISE program. So RISE stands for Research Internships in Science and Engineering. So that's basically for sophomores and juniors at the time of the application in the STEM fields, so biology, chemistry, engineering, geology, computer sciences, and physics, and probably some related
environmental science as well.
Yeah, that are not mentioned on the slides. So it offers internships 10 to 12 weeks, typically during the summer. It's and the interesting thing here that this is about a web-based matching process. So there is a website that you can go to, DRD RISE. You will find that. So when you just type in on Google these DRD and RISE, there's a website. Actually the database has opened a few days ago, and then you can type in the information, so your field of study, your field of interest, so to speak, and see what's available on the side of intern opportunities in labs, in universities that have certain research areas that are interesting to you. And so you put down or hand in the application online through this portal, and then through a web-based matching process, so to speak, the applicants and the labs or the research institutions are matched, so to speak, and the DRD facilitates that that exchange.
Still where you rank your top 4 or 3 choices, and then they look at you. It's kind of like residency matching, right? Like, and then you get offered a summer position if you match.
Yeah, it's a pretty competitive program. I mean, I have never obviously applied. I ended up in German studies, but it is a very popular program.
Do you know the students applying through that at URP? It's been a while since I did.
National Scholarships and Fellowships Office will help students with their applications. I don't know if they have any workshops coming up, but I will definitely check on that.
Yeah.
And then if for some reason, if you get an internship here or any of these internships, and the cost that, or the award is not enough to cover your expenses, the Pathway Centers also have internship funding that will cover the rest of the, like, your expenses. So if your living expenses exceed what the award amount is, you can apply for internship funding, and that might.
Yeah, it's great to know.
Plane ticket or
That's
extra,
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the award, 900 or 1,000 euro per month, that doesn't sound a lot. And you might say, well, you know, I cannot afford a room in Atlanta for that sum. That is actually right true. But in Germany, it is a pretty good amount of money. I think cost of living as of now is like you pay between 400 and 1,600 euro for a decent room in a major German city. Yeah, cost of living is, I would say, roughly 40% less than in the US. So it's not a ton, but if you get some more money, probably it's very sufficient. You also get health insurance, and German health insurance means it covers everything. You don't have to think about calling the ambulance if you, don't know if you can cover the cost. I think it's an interesting program too, because undergraduates get to work right with German doctoral students at labs. And it's also made for those of you who are thinking, is PhD an option for me? You get to work with people who do that, and you can get in conversation with them, even though you might not have a level of German for that, because for these kinds of programs, usually German is not a requirement, since these labs usually run, is English the lingua franca of these labs, right?
They're really multicultural spaces.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes English will be a common language among all the people in a research team. And especially for the science students, you have a lot of pressure to take classes in the summer and do research in the summer, and you might not be able to study abroad because you got to take 2 orgos back to back or something like that, right? So there's a lot competing for your summer time. And so I really like this program because you get to both be abroad and get to build those skills of talking and learning across cultures, and also work on really amazing cutting edge research. And I think and have it paid for. So like, go for it, right? Like, it's a really great option.
And just to kind of put a hammer in that, when I went to Germany, I had no German language. I barely knew how to say my name and was able to integrate into the lab very easily, right? So all good. I did learn by the end, but initially I had no idea.
At the very least, check out the database, see what grad students, PhD students are doing, research-wise in your fields of interest, and it gets quite narrow. And maybe something catches your eye and say, hey, that'd be great to work with for a summer. Okay, there's no guarantees. Just realize this is open to all STEM students in North America, and German's not a requirement. So this is any STEM student, right? So it's a pretty large field that could apply to this. So there's no guarantees, but Emory's had a decent track record over the years. So give it a shot. And it ultimately comes down, I think, to a personal match between you and that doctoral student. Does he or she think that would be a good match in the lab? So, yeah, I say at the very least, check out the database, which just went live.
Yeah, and then another program that I want to also talk about is RISE Professional. Right, so this is a similar program, which when you look ahead, so to speak. So this is for more advanced students. So when you are doing your master, you're doing a PhD or a postdoc, so you're a graduate student in these fields, and you would like to know what it's like to work in a company in their lab, working on, I don't know, a motor,
Microscopes, new microscopes with Zeiss or something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah. I'm
trying to give you a science example.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that helpful?
Thanks so much. Yeah, that is very helpful. So these companies probably look familiar to you, some of them. So washing machine, I know the Miele produces washing machine, but they also produce different stuff.
Siemens makes fMRI machines or MRI machines, right?
And other microscopes as well.
And other microscopes too?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
Scanning electron microscope is Siemens.
yeah, they all have research stuff going on,
Yeah.
and interesting high-end tech and research labs. And DRD also organizes basically the same thing, so a matching process between these companies and grad students. So when you want to look ahead in your career, you want to apply for an internship with BASF or Siemens or Miele, this is also an interesting program. It's called WISE Professional. So the first one is WISE Germany, where you work with a grad student in the lab, right? And this is WISE Professional, where you work actually with these companies. Yeah. Do you want to add to something else, or what should we cover next?
Switch to grad study?
Mhm.
Do you have funding for that?
Yeah. So the interesting part about the DRD is, regardless of what your studies are, the DRD offers a scholarship to fund a full master's degree in Germany, so for up to 2 years. This is called the study scholarship, and the deadline actually is unfortunately in 10 days.
Halloween.
So if you are interested in that, if you are graduating senior and you think that might be something for you, you approach me and we try to get your application quickly together.
Just to point out, to apply to a grad program is not until the spring. This is to apply for funding. It's a weird process where you actually apply to funding well before you'd actually apply to the graduate program. You do need to indicate on the funding application where you'd like to study. And you want to be specific and clear as to why that program and why Germany. But the actual application to a grad program isn't due until usually spring, late spring. It's a different application cycle than we're used to here in the US.
Yeah.
So just FYI. So if you miss the deadline next Friday, but still want to apply to a grad school, in Germany is still a possibility, and realize there's, again, no tuition. You just need to pay for room and board. And that would need to come from somewhere.
Could they apply for this then, if they go get into the master's program, could they apply for this for just 1 year to fill the second year of that master's program?
Yeah.
So that could also be if you know.
But 10 days, it's doable. You have to do some research between now and then, and we can talk. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. No,
I'll say a few more things about the application.
Yeah, no, thanks for pointing this out. But the DRD, of course, knows that, right? You apply for funding and you don't know even yet for sure where you're going to end up, right? You point out, I think, 3 different institutions.
Yeah, at least 3, yeah.
At least 3. And even if it's then a fourth one that has been not on your application with the DRD, and you get the funding, the DRD will not just take the funding away from you once you found a master program in Germany. Yeah, so this is a pretty interesting scholarship where you also get insurance, travel stipend, so they fund costs to cover the cost for the flight. And the question of German language, of course, I mean, you should take German class with the Department of German Studies.
Oh, yeah. Very fun.
We have an interesting, well, every year actually we teach more than 80 to 90 students, I would say, in
For sure.
German, and 101, 102, and it's a course that Professor Maxim has designed, and it's successful in that even for me, as I'm teaching this program, I'm always pretty impressed that by the end of the year, students speak German. And then we take them to Vienna, and then they come back fluent. That is how it is. Okay.
So some programs require advanced abilities in German. Some are taught in English, where no German is required. So you have to kind of see. There's a really wonderful. Well, once you navigate the kind of day websites, a wonderful portal to search for programs. You can click on masters in English in certain areas of Germany or all of Germany in my certain fields of study. And it spits out all the ones. Some are private universities, which have tuition. Some are public, which have no tuition. And you can just then you got to dive into each one. So it does require a fair amount of work on your part to find programs that meet your interests. But the ultimate goal is it's largely a free master's degree. Okay. And those are really hard to come by in the US. Okay. They often don't tell you, but master's degrees in this country are often seen as revenue generators for universities. Okay. Because you pay full fare. So it's an expensive road in this country. For PhDs, not so much, but for masters, yes. So this would be a potential way around it. And when you graduate, you do get an MA. It's not some weird German word. Okay, it says MA in your field, which then is recognized, of course, by US institutions if you want to say come back and get your PhD. And I will just say, I don't want to get overwhelmed by Friday, but I do serve on the committee, the DAA committee that reviews applications for this funding in the humanities, which may not apply to you all, but I've been doing this now for 5 years. I've seen a lot of applications. I know what works, what speaks to the committee, what doesn't. And what really is helpful is for you to be as specific as possible and explain why Germany, not just anywhere, and why this program. Okay, so dig into the program, identify professors, research projects that really speak to you, and be convincing in that regard, and it goes a long way. Okay, what you don't want to say is, I want to go to Germany because I've never been before. Or I study NBB and I want to study some more. I mean, those, we get a lot of those, and unfortunately, they're obviously bright students, but the application just doesn't compete with someone who's really specific, targeted, and explains why Germany. Okay, and if you need help with that, let me know. Because like I said, I read a fair amount of these in the humanities, but also I think the same criteria apply in the STEM fields. Okay, so if you want to email me a draft, maybe not Thursday evening or Friday morning next week, yeah, give me a little time to get back to you. I'm happy to help with that. Okay.
Okay, then maybe I want to show you two more other options, the
Any
opportunities
questions
that,
about that one? 'Cause
yeah.
this is a big one. This is a really nice option, I think, particularly for you seniors out
Mhm.
there. Any?
Yeah, and feel free to drop questions. I also in the
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Are there similar scholarships for doctor programs?
Yeah, if you want to get a
Yeah,
PhD.
yeah, there are. And let me get I always don't know how I get back to this.
Or chat question?
Sometimes you need to do a master's though before you're accepted into a German PhD program. Because of the way their schooling is a little different. So you might want to do the master's first and then apply for a PhD. I'm
Mhm.
speaking about your areas of
Mhm,
specialty.
mhm.
I
but-
don't think, I don't think we want to, a quick way for them to access that search portal based database.
Yeah, I can show that definitely.
Okay.
So I told you already that the German Academic Exchange Service, or DAAD, Deutscher Akademischer Austauschdienst, is not so great when it comes to their websites. But one website that I want to show you, and can I ask people on Zoom, can you see my screen now? So it's the,
Oh, no.
Yes, we can.
oh no, it's,
Okay, thank you.
you can see it, yeah? Because
Yeah.
it's not green, right?
Yeah.
But okay. So it's called DRD Scholarship Database, right? So this is the website that is up to date when it comes to scholarships, because there have been some cuts in recent years for different reasons. But this is the website which is really useful. It also has an English version. Switch to English, where you can refine your selection. So this is all the different scholarships available. So 172 different scholarships, and you can say, okay, you want to, you are looking, you are in the US, okay, so you are United States of America. You're looking for a program, say you are an undergraduate, or say you are a graduate, and the scholarship purpose, say you want to pursue studies, okay, in the field of, let's take engineering, okay, and then you click on refine your selection, and all the different scholarships that are in line with your criteria pop up, so to speak, right? And then you see the deadline. This is just the last scholarship I just talked about, the study scholarship. But there are other programs, and some of them are very specific, tied to certain programs, right? So you definitely want to check out this scholarship database, it's called, right?
So just to kind of bridge that with what Leah was saying to answer your question, Gianni, right? So for sciences in the US, right, it tends to be a combined master's PhD where you take like 7 years, 6-7 years to do that. But like Leah was saying, like Dr. Roche was saying, in Germany, it's a master's and then PhD, but it's usually about the same time combined, right? So it'll take the same time combined as if you were doing it here. So if you were interested in that, you would probably require to get two, like you wanted to do that, you would get 2 DAAD grants. You'd first start with the master's program, get that, then come back to DAAD, get the PhD one, continue either in the same lab or in different labs. I've seen it done both ways. Yeah. And apparently they like to give you money once you've gotten it first. So
Yeah,
so
right.
that's really good to know.
Mhm.
Which is really different here in the natural sciences, at least. Almost everybody goes into a PhD program without a master's.
Right.
It's sometimes you have earned a master's, but it's not even remotely required.
Yeah.
Most people, especially students from Emory with a lot of research experience, like
Yeah.
you guys are at a giant research university, you can go straight into a PhD program without a problem, but in German programs are expecting a master's
Yeah.
more typically
Mhm.
before you go to a PhD program.
But I'm thinking of my neuroscience friends in Germany, and they would take 2 years for masters and anywhere from 4 to 5 years for a
Mhm.
PhD, which is the same thing that we do for a PhD,
Mhm.
which is 6 to 7 years and like
Mhm.
a, you know, so
Mhm.
the timing is the same. It would just be slightly segmented,
Yeah.
let's say.
Which actually is good because it gives you time to figure out if you want to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can do the masters and then you can
Yeah.
come back if you want, or you can stay
Yeah.
if you want, right?
Are you saying PhD is too long? Oh,
Well, I mean, it depends on your project.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. There are some people I know who've done it in 5 years, but usually that's for computational people, you know.
Okay, then there's one more scholarship, even though the majority of you are undergraduates, I want to point it out to you.
Can you
Just
show quickly the portal to how to find a program?
yes, to how to find a
A specific program, how to,
Program of study,
yeah.
Mhm,
not the
mhm.
scholarship.
Yeah, let me actually.
Is that what we did for our class?
Yeah.
For
Mm.
Sorry, this is the
my German 101
So
homework?
this is also, if you take German 101, you may
Study
even
in
have a
Germany,
professor.
yes.
in
Yeah, maybe
German.
you can go to our website if you want.
The poor
German.edu.
undergrad who's my partner for all of the homework, I'm like, I don't get a grade, so
Yeah.
I want to decide what we do.
Yeah.
She's great though.
So from the database, I want to pivot to the German department.
Yeah, it might be the easiest way to
website.
get it.
Mhm.
So if you go to the German department website and then under undergraduate, go down to abroad. Then over here on the right, you can see postgraduate fellowships and grants. Okay, so we're trying to be as extensive and comprehensive as possible. And then if you scroll down, pursue a graduate degree, and this one right here in Germany. Okay, so this lists all graduate programs in Germany on all fields. As you begin to focus down, so the degree we want, say, a master's, there's 10,000 to choose from. Course of study. What do you all want to study? Yeah, so we'll do natural sciences. What's here? We'll do neurosciences. Want to narrow it down some more? Okay, all neuroscience. Master's in neuroscience. There's 26 to choose from. Let's maybe stop there. And some may or may not be what you're looking for. And then what you also can do is more filters. Let's do languages study. Because for those of you who didn't take English, course language English. So now we lose 8, but we're still at 18. So yeah, I'll let you poke around some more, but you can see
Folks and.
these are almost all public universities, so you can expect no tuition. So did you see how we got there? So the German department, abroad, postgraduate options.
Mhm.
And these would be the ones if you find a program, this is one you want to zero in on. If you're planning to apply by next Friday to see why you want to do this program and why Germany.
I just quickly look into the chat if there's anybody who would drop the question or. No. Does the masters have to be in the same discipline as the PhD, or could you do complementary disciplines? I think that's maybe a more question to you. Yeah, does the masters have to be in the same discipline as the PhD, or could you do complementary disciplines?
Certainly in neuroscience PhD programs, it's such an interdisciplinary field that your undergraduate degree or your master's degree could be from a wide range of fields. So you don't have to limit yourself that way. I would guess that's probably true in other interdisciplinary sciences, like environmental sciences and things like that. If you wanted a specifically psychology program, they tend to be a little more insular and want a psychology degree. And sometimes chemists can be like that too. But it is a good question for folks in your field, whatever your field is. I don't know, Annika, if we were talking about neuroscience or NBB.
Yeah, I can echo that question from my field or from our fields, like cultural studies, German studies. Like there's so much intersection, and it really depends on the project or your interest that you develop during your masters, and then you can do a PhD in a slightly different direction.
Right.
That's pretty common actually in Germany.
Like your
Yeah.
degree might be in sociology.
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
And then you go on to another field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
A
Great question.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Annika. Shadi wrote down that my screen hasn't been shared. Was it, can I ask the folks on Zoom, was it when Professor Maxim showed how to get to this database for all the programs in Germany that you haven't seen? Because otherwise we can maybe put the link also in the chat. They might want to do
I
that.
think it was for the database, but if you could put the link in the chat, I think that'd be good. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we do that. By the way. No. Alle ist noch alle hier. Oh, alle Meeting. Yeah. Okay, so this is the link. Okay. One question I have is, does anybody of you study or wants to work in the space with spaceships and all the programs attached to it? Because there is, sorry. Yes, because there is a specific program that's the DAD offers. I think it's new in cooperation with the Deutsches Zentrum für Luft- und Raumfahrttechnik, which is the German Center for Aerospace Technology, I guess. Should I put it up and show you the slide that I have on that, or is it like?
I think that would be valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. I do that. So yeah, this is let me find my slide here. So I'm challenged by technology today. So do you see the slides? Right. Can you on Zoom, can you give me a thumbs up? I cannot see you. A thumbs up. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Nice. Thanks so much. So okay. So there is one program where the DAD teams up, so to speak, with this center I just talked about, and it's called DLR. So that's the Deutsches Zentrum für Luft- und Raumfahrttechnik, German Center for Aerospace Technology. So this is there are obviously different types of tracks of funding opportunities. So for masters, for PhDs, for postdocs and faculty who work in these more like highly specified fields, but the DAD offers support on that. You see the different opportunities here, and also for faculty. If you want to have more information on that, then the website you should look to is dad.de/DLR. DLR is the center, yeah, DLR, and I will post that in the chat too. Yeah, this is a pretty new thing. And one last thing I want to show you are the research grants. Oh, sorry, there's one question. Yeah.
Is that specifically for like engineering students, or is it like also be something like neuroscience?
I would say that's about engineering and all the technology attached to getting to the space. Yeah.
Because my brother is engineering. I'm not, but yeah. So I took a picture, but I wasn't sure if it's like how relevant it is for people who like just graduated, but like is currently working. But, yeah.
Who just graduated as undergraduates or? Yeah. No, so the master's scholarship, right? If you want to study in Germany, that is an opportunity after you graduate as an undergraduate.
I think she means for the one you just showed, do you have to be an enrolled student?
Oh,
I think it had several levels, didn't it?
yeah, I think
there's-
there's,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So let's just check their website, yeah, what they say, because this is totally new to me too.
But you could maybe do the rise professional in his case.
And it's you can look at it.
That's right. Yeah. Right, you can't do all the work for him. Good job, even connecting it.
Yeah, you have to be in school to apply. It's unclear.
Yeah.
looks like except for the postdoc, right? Because postdoc technically.
'Cause it's just-
school. Yeah.
9 months, probably need to be in school, I'm guessing, right?
Feels like it.
Yeah, so this is really like a specific research, that's my understanding, a specific research center that has, I think, a network in Germany around 30 different institutions, and you can work with them, but you have to basically, well, either your study aligns with what they are doing and you apply, or your PhD, project aligns with them. Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit that this is really new, and I don't understand all of that, but I can yeah, if you want to know more about it, this is the website DRD/DLR is the program. If you Google it, okay. Do you want to continue with the Vienna program maybe, or and then I go into research and PhD, or should I go ahead with?
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
Okay. Okay, so then I would like to show you one other opportunity. This is typically for so these are the research grants that the DRD offers. There are for postdocs and PhD, so students can apply who have a master's degree or who are doing their master's degree already. So this is something like you have a lab in Germany or someone who you would like to work with. It's already figured out. It's an established relationship, and you just need some funding for it, right? And there are 2 types of this research grant. One is a short term from 2 to 6 months, but there's also a long-term research grant from up to 12 months. So this is, yeah, you see, you get a monthly stipend, travel stipend, health insurance, liability insurance, and the application deadline also, unfortunately, is approaching pretty soon. But there are 2 deadlines. So one is for the spring in April 30, in the spring, April 30th, and one is in October, usually around this time of the year. Yeah, I think I would leave it here.
This would be if you're doing a PhD, say in this country, you
Mhm.
need to spend a year furthering your research for your dissertation at a German lab or in some German institute. This would be a program that would fund that year of research over there. Okay, so it's usually to support dissertation work.
Mhm.
Okay, and that you need to be in Germany for that, and that's what this
Mhm.
grant is for.
Mhm.
Yeah, so depending on the field, for instance, tangible examples, right? If you're, let's say, doing archival work and the archive is located in Germany, that would be a way you would do this to go visit. Or for scientists, if there is a technique that is being developed by another lab that you would like to learn and bring back to the US, that would be like what you could do for that. Those are kind of some examples I've seen this used in.
And once again, one of the key criteria is why this lab? Why couldn't you do this at your home institution? So if you can make that case nicely, then your chances are pretty good.
Mhm. There's one scholarship that is so these again, right, are all scholarships that are not specifically geared to German studies at all. Like you can apply for a research grant, whatever field you're studying or doing research. But there is one scholarship I want to point it out, which is geared towards German studies. It's called the German Studies Research Grant, which supports research and it's very open. You see that cultural, political, historical, economic, and social aspects of modern and contemporary German affairs. So this is usually a research stay, basically, for up to 2 months in Germany. We've seen students doing that that have a small like research project. And the way it works is you would here at Emory, approach your professor, figure out a doable research plan, a doable research project, which requires you to be in Germany, to work in an archive, to work in in an institution or in an archive, or say at a museum over there, to talk to people, do interviews, these kinds of things. So this is the usually the area where this grant comes in.
This could be something for them to support a senior honors thesis. So the summer before your senior year, you get a 1 or 2 month stay, get you to Germany to dive into a specific area of focus that you need that information for your thesis, which you bring back and then write your senior year, for example. Okay, I know there's Emory funding for that through the Pathway Center, right? So that, but this is another option out there for you. Sure, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And so it says German studies, but you could maybe spin that to be German neuro NBB studies. I mean, I think it doesn't have to be solely humanities based per se, right, Frank? I mean,
You could take
potentially.
like a brain study of
Doesn't really
culture.
say natural science though, but.
But you get a brain study of culture, like a psychology.
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
Which may not be exactly what your thesis is doing, but anyway.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There are intersections between German studies and neurosciences. Okay, I think I would give it to you, hand over to you to maybe show the other things that we have on our
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so not to be too kind of self-promotional, but we do encourage you to visit our departmental website.
We have a nice website.
Yeah, so this again, undergrad, german.emory.edu. I click on undergraduate and then go to abroad. And then we've divided into 2 categories. One would be undergraduate stuff. This is when you're still undergrad and you're going to come back and then be an undergrad. And this postgraduate would be stuff when you're about to graduate or you've already graduated. So we'll start with the undergrad stuff, okay? And we broke it down into research, internship, study. I won't go into every one, allow you to dive in that some yourself. We've already talked about a few of them, but in internships, you can see Rise is on here, Rise is on here, Rise. Yeah, it's at the bottom, okay? So you've seen that. We've got another nice internship, which is not so much relevant for the audience tonight, but this is more for folks in the business school. So these are paid internships with German companies in the for-profit sector. The application deadline is already passed for this summer, but just keep it in mind if you are thinking of future summers. That does require at least intermediate German. So each one has a specific focus as to how much German is needed. Rise, no German needed, but this GAE does require some German. And then in terms of study, one interesting possibility as well is to maybe to jumpstart your German are these DAD summer courses. And that deadline is also next Friday. So these are grants to simply allow you to take German in Germany for the summer. You won't get any Emory credit for that, but if you simply want to kind of jumpstart your German learning, that'd be one way to do that. You'd be in Germany, okay? And then maybe explore and see, is this a place I want to return to or not? Okay, and then you come back, maybe take some German with us, and then think about subsequent courses, okay? So we're big on talking about kind of piggybacking experiences, and is you get a taste of one thing and it leads to another. So you take a course, you like something that's being discussed, you then see, can I do this in a research project? You pursue it over the summer. That becomes an honor thesis, which then becomes the basis for a graduate application, for a graduate program. And before you know it, you've got a master's, and it all started with a one course sophomore year kind of thing, right? So thinking about these connections and how you build on one program into another. Yeah, so these are different undergraduate stuff, postgraduate. Well, maybe I'll stop for a second for the undergraduate. I mentioned 2 summer programs. Real quickly, so our summer program in the German studies, it goes to Vienna, okay? And this is to study language and culture of the German-speaking world with a specific focus on Austria. The minimum requirement is 2 semesters of German, so you have to do 101 and 102 somewhere, but most likely here. And then you would go over to Austria for the summer and do 2nd year, or if you've already done some German, you would go over to Austria and do 3rd year. Do an entire year's worth of German in 7 weeks. So if you were to do it in Atlanta, it'd take you 28 weeks. You do it in 7 weeks in the summer, so it's 4 times as fast. But that's all you're doing, right? You're not doing any NBB or psychology or what have you. You're doing just German for those 7 weeks. You live with a host family. So you get that semi-immersion experience with them. There's excursions. These are courses either taught or supervised by Emory faculty. So we very much are aware of who you are and where you're coming from and where you need to return to when you come back to Emory. So, and it's a program that we've been doing now for 53 years, the longest running summer study abroad program at Emory. So we'd love to have you 53 years. So you have ways to go, Leah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so that's a program which obviously if you haven't taken any German yet at Emory, you wouldn't qualify for, but if you are in 101, do 102 next semester, you'd be perfect candidates to do 201 and 202 in Vienna. And so that gets you 8 credits over the summer. And we have to also make this statement, to get Emory credit, you have to pay for Emory credit, right? So you're going to pay the Emory summer tuition for those 8 credits. Fortunately, German Studies has had some very generous benefactors over the years. So we have some nice scholarships to support you. It doesn't cover anywhere near the entire cost, which unfortunately the tuition is running close to $15,000 for 8 credit hours over the summer. But there's some significant scholarships to defray some of those costs, okay? Roughly a third of those costs through scholarships, okay? So
your aid would transfer.
right. And
The aid you might.
yeah, I don't want to speak too much about financial aid because I don't want to get in shaky waters there, but financial aid can be applied to summer study abroad based on your package, and you want to talk to your financial aid advisor about that and not me, okay? So that's one summer study program, and there happens to be another one in the German-speaking world, brand new, okay, to Munich, Germany, okay?
We have colorful flyers here if this applies to you or any of your friends, because we know you probably have NBB studying friends. You could take these for them. We're offering a 6-week program based in Munich. We will take 2 classes. One is the NBB 302 or behavioral neuroscience class, and the other is an elective. So it's similarly 8 credits in 6 weeks. What other highlights?
So some other highlights is you do not need German.
No
for
German.
this, no German required, though we will be having some like survival German, I think, classes or class. Okay, for you. We will also be having excursions, things like that. And one of the main excursions for our program will be at least 1 weekend trip to Berlin.
Yep.
So you will be able to experience 2 major German cities. And talk to our friends. That's another big one.
We're really proud of planning to bring you to research labs.
Exactly.
And so not just like classes with us in a classroom, because of course we're your Emory professors and you're going to go with Emory students and we could just keep you in this classroom and just hear our classes. But we're going to visit research labs and get to meet people that are currently probably PhD students, I would imagine, but maybe PhD students or postdocs in research labs. Get to see their space, see some of their cool data, find out about what they're studying. So you're going to get to interact with locals. The cultural studies people are like, but yes,
Right.
We will make sure that you meet people that are actually living and working in Germany, not just hearing from us. But the core class will count directly to your NBB major and the elective will count directly to your NBB major. So that's 2 of the 17 classes to complete an NBB major. So it's a good use of your time.
And so this is just ideal for obviously folks who have not taken 302 yet. So like rising sophomores, rising juniors probably, but obviously open to everybody who wants it. So here, or if you know people on the Oxford campus, feel free to send them our way.
And Vienna's only about a 3-hour train ride away. So come on down and visit us too, okay? Okay.
That's in the plans.
Okay, yeah, so maybe looking and keep an eye on the time. So back to the website.
I have to share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things you've heard about so far? Yeah, I'm gonna go talk about internships in space.
Some internships
Yeah. Yeah, right, good.
So real quickly, if we go back to the abroad page, go to switching now to postgraduate opportunities. You've already heard about some of these. I encourage you to explore some of these. These are some postgraduate internships. We already talked about how this is the page to find programs to apply for graduate degrees. Also realize if you're interested in all teaching English in the German-speaking world, there's a nice opportunity through Fulbright, Germany, or you can do a program in Austria. It technically isn't called Fulbright, but it's run by the Fulbright Commission in Austria. So this is where you'd be an assistant to an English teacher in a German or Austrian high school for a year. Okay, and you extend that for a second year. Okay, we've missed the application deadline for the one to Germany, but the application deadline for the one to Austria is not till January 15th. They do require though at least intermediate German to apply for that. And so that is a requirement as well. So if it's all of interest to you to teach English or assist the teaching of English in the German-speaking world, these are two great programs. We've had a very good track record in placing students. And do realize though that Fulbright, this ETA program, English Teaching Assistantship, exists worldwide. And so there are programs across the world to teach that. It just happens that Germany offers a lot more than any other country. They offer over 160 ETA ships, whereas most countries offer in the single digits. And so your chances increase because they need intermediate German, and there's 160 of them. So all of a sudden your chance of getting one greatly increased compared to say trying to go to the UK where there's 5 and everyone speaks English, right? So you can see that it's one nice perk about what Germany and Austria offer is also close to 150 as well. So
And that's the same for the study research. They offer, Germany offers one of the most study research ones as well.
For Fulbright.
For Fulbright.
Yeah.
So if you are not a senior current, like even if you are, the deadline has already passed for that,
right.
but you can also apply after you've graduated for
Right.
these as well, if you would like to.
Yeah, so that was down here. Sorry, go back up here. So for research, this Fulbright, yeah. So this is to spend a year doing independent research at a German university or institute. And again, the key thing there though is you need an invitation or a letter on university letterhead that says, I have read Megan's application and it's a great project. She needs to come to Germany. I'm happy to mentor her. Okay. Without that letter on letterhead, your application is dead in the water. Okay. So you need to start thinking ahead. What maybe could I do? Talk to your professors, okay, and see where maybe you could do this research over there. Do they have any contacts who can then help you get that letter on letterhead? And then your application should be pretty strong, okay? But that application usually do around Labor Day here in the US for the next year, yeah. So we missed it for next academic year, but for the following, it still is an option.
And again, under the Pathways office, they have the National Scholarships and Fellowships folks that are awesome at these applications as well.
And I'll throw out one more as the time's about coming up. That is, I'll open for students who don't know German. This is a Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange. And so it's an interesting program. It gives you some intensive German to start the program, and then you get a semester of university study and then a semester internship after graduation. So it's an interesting combo of getting some language, getting some university study experience, and getting an internship all within 1 year. And it's got the backing of 2 legitimate organizations. Well, it used to be Congress and the German Bundestag, right? Okay. So 2 well-known organizations are supporting this. It's a nice cohort of students, but realize because no German is required, the application pool expands. Okay. And that deadline's coming up pretty soon. So that's yeah, next Saturday it's due. But interesting program for those looking for something, maybe a gap year experience to get some study and internship. Yeah.
Study for 4 months. That's like as a post, but like you're not getting like a degree.
Yeah, you're right. No degree, no strings attached. You kind of pick and choose what you want. If you don't know any German, you're doing courses in English, which they have plenty of. Yeah.
You get like the research experience that you want.
Right. It kind of depends on where you are and what opportunities are at that place. So I can't make promises. But yeah, if you're really interested in doing some research in a certain field and there happens to be a lab that's open to you, then that certainly would be an option. Yeah. And then you would build on that with an internship in the following semester. Yeah.
That'd be really cool, Julian.
Yeah, so we've covered a lot. I encourage you to explore our website, poke around a little bit, reach out to any one of us. I'm happy to talk more about any of these things, whether it's a summer program or yeah.
But kind of similar to a lot of these other opportunities, that they've already mentioned. If you're doing research and you need more support to do an independent research project, the undergraduate research programs offers an independent research grant, which can be used for domestic projects or international projects. So that's up to $2,500 for an international project that you can use in combination with other funding to do, continue a project that you've already established with the faculty mentor. So that's one thing. And then I'd already mentioned the Pathways internship funding. So it says internship in the title, but it includes research internships and research experiences. If you have an offer for a summer to do research in Germany or here in the US, you can apply for funding. The important things to remember about this one is that you should apply early because it is first come, first serve, and the applications open, I believe, in February of 2026. So come see us in the Pathways office, either me or Sandra or any one of us would be happy to help you.
But these would only be open to students who are rising juniors, or rising seniors. Like you can you get that after you graduate?
If you are a fifth year senior, you could get the internship funding. The thing is, you have to come back to Emory after the summer, right? So if you finish the internship in the summer and then you have to do one more semester at Emory, you would qualify. Does that make sense? So I'll just, pass these around, take one if you'd like.
So again, folks, and this is the Pathways Center, yeah? Pathways at Emory.edu. And again, if your head's spinning, say, I'm lost about all these things, this is what we're here for, right? Let us come and tell us what your interests are, where you are in your studies, and we'll try and help you on a path.
I'll ask questions if one more question.
Yeah, any more questions?
Yeah.
Time's up, but happy to stick around for any questions.
Yeah.
Same here, guys. Do you have any questions?
Zoom folks, any questions?
Any questions? You can also put them in the chat. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I need to look at things first. so I
Yeah.
know what- I know I will.
Okay, I think there's no questions. Yeah. So we will definitely share the slides and also the link again to the websites we've shown and maybe also to the Pathway Center. Yeah, thanks for coming and yeah, hope to see you in Germany or Austria. Okay.
Anybody
Thank you.
in our study abroad and you want to